And good evening, everyone out there in the wonderful world of Twitch. It looks like my audio is good, so hopefully everyone out there can hear me and we can get this show on the road. So, hi, my name is John. I am a GM and part of Rook and Rasp here on Twitch. We'd like to think of ourselves as kind of just a nice place for normal people to get together, play games, meet up on our Discord. By the way, we do have a Discord. And occasionally we put together shows and say, hey, let's throw something out there for people. So we like to think of ourselves as kind of gamers like you and having a good time. But tonight we're playing Dragon Age, and there are a couple things I want to toss out before we get going too far. I believe that the RPG bundle for Trans Lives that is helping support in Florida is currently still available. You need to go to itch.io and check out their charity bundles in order to find that one. Secondly, I definitely want to throw this out because I think we've only got less than 6 hours left on it. And that is Owen Casey Stevens. If you are a part of the gaming community, you probably have played in a game that he helped create. The big one that immediately springs to mind is going to be Star Wars, the Saga Edition version of that game. He was one of the writers for that, and he is also a writer for Fantasy Age Second Edition, which just has come out for pre-order, and you can now get the PDF. Dragon Age is based upon that game. I definitely want to say, please consider going and backing on, I believe it is either Bundle of Holding or Humble Bundle. There's a bundle that supports Owen. He was recently diagnosed with cancer, and in the world of RPG gaming, there is really no union. There is no retirement plan. There is barely a hope of insurance a lot of times if you're a professional RPG writer. So this is a way that you can help support somebody that has helped our community in past. So I definitely want to toss that out there. Again, go look for it. It's Owen Casey Stevens, and it's a charity bundle to help support them in this time of need. Also, definitely want to say that our channel, we use two things that are kind of part of what we do, and that is the music tonight is going to be from Tabletop Audio. They do an amazing job. We love using their stuff. We are Patreon backers of theirs, so we actually pay to be able to use their stuff in our shows. And then we're also going to be using Alchemy as our VTT tonight if there is combat. So just tossing that out. If you like what we do and you enjoy what you're seeing, I'm enjoying Alchemy because it allows me to use animated backgrounds and high quality ones at that. So, tossing that out there. But, really quick, let me go around the table and introduce our players for the evening because enough of me yammering, right? I'm going to actually start on the upper right corner for my players. I'll go and call out your names and do the introduction. So, Revna.
Hi guys, it's me, Rev. I play Luvia Vasquez, our roguish Ravani merchant. And right now she's getting ready to use her wit as opposed to hopefully her rapier. So that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Moving on down. So, Michael.
Hello, Michael. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Leon, who is also he, him, a rogue artiste, scoundrel. And I think Leon is also looking to desperately avoid a fight.
Coming around the corner, going over to Stevie.
Hey y'all, my name is Stevie. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Amara Pallier, who uses she, her pronouns. She is the Butch Templar in training who might have a future in law, depending on how the next couple sessions go.
And Frankie.
Hi there, my name is Frankie. I use they them pronouns. I am playing Ilian Toussaint, who also uses they them pronouns. A mage who recently remembered that he can heal stuff. They can heal stuff, because I forgot. Yeah, Ilian's gonna try to stay out of the way and not get murdered. Really excited about that.
All right. Well, when last we left this intrepid group of heroes, they had been at a town square central where a elder paladin, or sorry, wrong game system, elder Templar, uh, defended or attempted to come to the some sort of understanding with the new local government about the death of Lord Moreau. Things did not work out the way they had planned. Instead, now, two individuals have been accused of the murder. Minato Vitelli, who was a soldier who was possibly in love with the daughter of Lord Moreau, as well as War Lady Vinaya. And our team knew where Minato was hiding a farm, ran to the rescue, got them in a wagon, hid them, and basically disappeared going west, away from the main roads, hoping to avoid troops. But upon on their way, they happened upon the Master of Arms for Duke Nicholas Duval Montaigne, a large man wielding a large axe, the Master at Arms Thomas Leitner, and his troops have now set upon our group, kind of ambushing them on a bridge. So that is where we're going to go ahead and start our scene up. We did have a player that wanted to try and talk their way out of this, so we're going to go ahead and start up with that.
Well, he did ask me what was in the wagon, since we are in the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And I will point to the various bags, and I will say, it's very simple. These over here is food for my horses. This over here is some food for us. I'm not sure what declaration you're talking about, sir, unless it's the declaration that Duke de Montaigne is in charge now. But that's not why we're out here. You see, the mayor is looking for two fugitives. One of those fugitives is the young Minato. And I believe the last time that we encountered each other was when we were on our way to find the missing young lady Cerise. This here points to Ilian, is her tutor, and this here is Leon, who works for the house. We did, in fact, find her there at the fort with her lover, Minato. And it is now believed that Minato may have had an argument with Lord Moreau and murdered him. And there's a Templar in town that seems to think that's not true, but we don't know. But we do know that he fled the fort. So we are looking for him. Hence the wagon instead of my horses, so we can park the wagon and, if necessary, have a means to carry him and his accomplice, who we believe was a ranking officer at that same fort.
Be that as it may, I am certain you won't mind then if my troops have a look.
Please. It's only 6 bags.
All right.
Hardly enough food for us to make any long journey.
Yes, Stevie?
So I think Amara, because Amara helped out with like the planks of wood that got us over that gap, I think she's outside of the wagon. She was like walking alongside it and didn't get back in. So she's still like outside of the wagon watching the troops now move in on the wagon.
As they're searching, I'm going to carry on talking to him.
Okay.
We do believe we might be able to get some information from the swamp folk. You could appreciate, sir, that dressed as you are as compared to dressed how as I am, they'd be more likely to speak to me. You are a rather intimidating man, in all honesty. Also, we thought since we had spoken to the young man before when we retrieved the girl, he may trust our faces, was our reason of thinking.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, just for our viewers, I'm going to switch us over to give them an idea of what is happening. So that you, viewers, you're going to be able to see the scene as it is set up. There is obviously the wagon, all of the group of you standing around, and the Thomas Leitner, this Master at Arms, is a large man. He wears nothing of the common garb of a soldier of Orlais, much more of a set of leather armor, but does wear the proper mask of a chevalier of a lord. But the large axe has seen obviously a great deal of battle. It is pockmarked and scarred. Has a rather nasty look to it. but he will be sending his troops towards the wagon. Uh, two individuals, just two guards, are going to be approaching. Let me see if I can pull that up here one moment. Make sure I can get to them. For some reason, it's giving me a hard time with moving them about. 1 second.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Just like a question. If I was gonna cast a spell, is
Mhm.
there a way to cast it that I don't just get immediately shanked by these soldiers for casting a spell? Can I do a sneaky spell? I just don't want to. I don't
You
want
know,
to get a
that is a hard question to answer for this system.
Yeah. Because I just wanted to cast rock armor on myself. Like, I'm not casting towards anybody.
Now-
I just want to cast that on me.
I do
To be
believe.
clear,
Yeah.
Swish.
Yeah, that would be
Mhm.
sauce. Yeah.
to be clear, Ilian is trying to avoid being shanked. Correct?
Usually.
So, usually, magic in this world is
Hold on.
pretty crazy. I would say that you would need to hide or find a place where you are unobservable. And then the other side of that is, I believe the rock armor has a. It looks obvious when you have
Oh
it
no,
up.
it's a visual component. I was just dreaming. I'm just gonna vibe. I'm gonna pick my nails and look rich. Don't mind me.
All right. So the two guards that were at the end of the bridge with the master at arms, they're the two that have proceeded over to the wagon. Now, that said, are any of you going to? Where is everybody going to position themselves at this
I'm
point?
sitting in the driver's seat of the wagon,
Okay.
and the boy that we're hiding is lit because I think Ilian sat beside me, if I remember. He is literally under the seat we're sitting on, so in that boxed off
There's-
space.
There is
Um,
if I
I'm not
recall the
moving.
compartment. The compartment is actually accessed from the back of the wagon, like underneath the bench. It's not where you'd lift up the top of the bench. You'd have to get into the back and like pull the piece off to get into that compartment. Correct?
Yeah, he had to slide up. Yeah, he had to slide up in, so it's a piece that slides up between the bed of the wagon and the back of the wagon.
Does anybody have it recorded for the ability to hide him? Was there a roll made?
You didn't have me make one, but I can.
Yeah, I don't
Alright.
know that we made one at the time.
If y'all would like to go ahead and
Yep.
make a roll with that, I'm going to have them make a roll as well. Pull that.
Would you
up
call
here.
that a deception roll, or would you call that a
20.
cunning roll?
Well, I think.
Oh,
Oh, goodness. Well, let's see if they even have a prayer.
With
Really
2 stunt
quick.
points.
So,
Forget I said anything.
yeah.
same. I was really excited about my 9. Really hoping I could help swing.
I hadn't rolled yet, but clearly I do
11.
not need to.
Not
They
sure what to do
roll-
with those
so-
2 stunt points, but
They rolled a 16. So you definitely exceeded their ability to search. They find nothing within the wagon. Now, did you have any other form of contraband, or was it all just trade goods?
no. What's in the wagon is what I said was in the wagon. I said I threw in stuff in there that would make it look like we were, going out to
Yep.
camp. So that would have been food and the horse food, and then like the tent, and that in case we needed to stay overnight or whatever. But
All right. Let's go ahead then, and just to maintain your story, go ahead and roll a deception, if you'd like, versus
Yep.
the Master at Arms.
All of us?
can I use my persuasion?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Triple
3
sixes.
sixes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
My focus is in persuasion, so that'd be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, with 6 stunt points, which will try to sway
Wow.
sway the crowd, stun, silence,
Yep.
whatever.
He got a 17, which is really good. And you just knocked him out of the water, almost literally.
Leon got an 18, adding everything together. So Leon like starts to try to assist Lou, and then just shuts his mouth. Like, well,
Amara is keeping her mouth shut, hand on the hilt, just watching everything happen.
Iliad is questioning the reality of, did we even put the kid in there, or am I misremembering? Like, I'm not, like, I saw him go in there, but did I? Did I?
The guards.
I'm say even in that persuasion to him himself, I'm going to use the dagger of hers that I have as this belonged to the officer that he was in collusion with. I mean, I'm going to weave all of that in together. You know, when we're trying to find out from the swamp people if they knew who this belongs to, blah, blah. I'm going to just keep the tale going. And while they're searching and come up with nothing.
The soldiers finally just kind of look back at the Master Arms and just kind of shrug, and it's like, damn it, waste of our time. All right, you may go. When do you think you're going to be returning out this way?
Depends on what we get from the swamp people, to be very honest with you, sir. Let's say, how about we say 3 days? It may not take us that long, but maybe sooner. Is there a sign you would like us to, I don't know, whistle or call so you know that we're returning?
No. But I am under offer, although the mayor can provide something. I serve directly under the Duke Duval-Montaigne. I can offer you a greater reward if you bring me either of their heads. And he just nods, and
A merchant like me could always use a coin. Oh, and that armor must surely chafe. I'm going to reach in my bag and pull out, like, this ointment. Here, try that. Free charge. For your chafing.
honestly, with the size of this guy's, he probably chafes quite a bit. And they hand the ointment off, take it, pass it over to Sergeant Arms, and they begin heading south along the edge of the river.
As soon as they're out of sight, we've started moving the horse along. Lou, who's sat next to Ilian, just looks at Ilian and goes, "Oh,
that could have gone so bad. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you.
I could.
Holy shit.
You and Leon and Amara couldn't have done it without you. Leon just nodding along at the right places.
Did the ointment you give him actually help with chafing?
Yeah.
Oh, I was really hoping it was something else. Okay.
I mean, I am rarely speechless, Mistress Lou, but that was something.
The Ravani gift.
All right.
I think Amara hops in the back of the wagon so she's not left behind.
She hops in the wagon. She hops in the wagon, and Ilian and Lou both.
Jesus Christ.
Well, for speed of computer purposes, because I know there's a couple of here, for now you may go ahead and close your VTT so that you know doesn't affect your negatively for your computer speed.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
You made it past that engagement.
Y'all did not come into that session thinking we were gonna.
I
thought
didn't
we
either.
were gonna have.
And then when John didn't ask me for the perception, I was like, "Oh God, here it goes."
Mhm.
Or not the persuasion. I was like, "Here it goes."
I'm so squishy without armor.
Oh, hey, we have a raid. Thank you so much, Master of Dungeons, for raiding us. We hope you all are having a great evening out there. Oh, and by the way, I should have done this already, but thank you so much, Mooncrow, Farlane, and also we have Shalel in the chat tonight. It is so so good to hear from you. Haven't talked to you since the last time we did our game together, but anyway, moving on. The group of you find your way now westward and into the swamplands that are essentially beyond the valley. It is rough going. Now, at this point, I think it would be safe to say that you're not going to have any issues with the soldiers coming after you. Most people tend to avoid here. It's a well-known area for snakes and other creatures, and of course, just the dangers of anyone coming out here in armor, sinking in and not being able to get out.
Hmm.
But
Point that out to Amara.
let's go ahead and get some rolls here. Because obviously we are dealing with uh, dangerous natural area. Now, what is your goal at this point?
We were headed to the glade, is where we were headed, was it not? To try and find Vinaya. And if she ran to try and get this kid to where they could get him out of here, because he's, in this box under our collective asses.
Weren't we told as a group that, or possibly individually, but somebody mentioned that there was some kind of resistance group out here?
Well, there is the people that live in the swamps of Orlais really don't consider themselves Orlesian.
Okay.
They don't care about the nobility. They don't care about any of the propriety. They live their life fairly simply and away from the trappings of the rest of everything. But then there is also the Dales, the Dalish elves who were living in this area, who had thrown in their lot with the previous duke to some extent, or at least Lord Vinaya, or Lady Vinaya, was working on their behalf to secure a better future for them.
That may be what I was thinking of. The Dalish, not necessarily a resistance group, but the Dalish themselves being out here. Yes, I think that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Which would make sense because, again, our lady is out here.
All right. So,
What were we rolling, John?
at this point, I think that let's go ahead and start off with some cunning navigation for finding your way.
It's 11. I have a 14.
I was wondering, so like my research is around like magic that the Dalish would specify, like some Dalish might specialize in. Would that give me like make it easier for me to try to find them?
I normally would say no. Uh, but I'm trying to think if it would work to try and do some sort of yes.
Mage Ilian, could you use Vinaya's dagger to find her?
Hey GM, could
Yeah.
I use Vinaya's dagger to like crack her?
There are a couple ways to do that. Do you have any spells that let you interact with spirits?
I did have the Spirit Wisp, but there was the confusion with the armor, so I had to get rid of that for rock armor. So now, unfortunately, no, I don't.
All right.
I only have Heal and Arcane Bolt. I
You-
am level 1.
I got an 18 on that navigation roll, and
Ooh.
I got 4 stunt points, which I'd like to use for the upper hand. So if the discoveries lead to combat, I receive a +3 bonus on my initiative. Amara is like on edge after that interaction with the soldiers, so she is like super sweeping.
All right. Would anybody like to? Now I'll say this because at the same time I think Rev, you also rolled that, correct, for navigation.
Yeah, I rolled 14.
So 14 and an 18.
Uh,
Would one of you, Michael, you got something too?
I was just going to ask how you would view a cultural lore check.
I was actually going to bring up a lore check, and that is if somebody wanted to turn one of those previous rolls into a nature lore to know the local flora and fauna and what might be dangerous in this area for either Rev or for Rev or Stevie, I'll let y'all decide if one of y'all want to turn your role into that instead.
Yeah, I'll do that. Since we have already established that she has at least come this way smuggling before, then I'll turn mine into that natural lore role.
All right.
Are,
And then a cultural lore. What are you trying to hope for with the cultural lore?
Well, again, when you talk about there is a group of people out here or that don't consider themselves Arlesians, right? Like so, there is a culture of folks there is a culture of people that are out here. The Dalish are rumored to be out here as well. So, again, not so much necessarily culture from a you know a high culture standpoint, but more like there are groups of people, groups of individuals that live out here. So if you read cultural lore as being more about being able to operate within your own culture versus um, anthropology,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I guess that's the question on how you would take that.
And really quick, I see at Master Dungeons you mentioned being a local content creator. Were you I believe, if I'm correct, this is the content creator that I met at Oktoberfest, yes? If so, I am really happy to see you and glad everything's going well. So, sorry, really quick digression. So, uh, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and
my
work
feeling
it
my feeling is that cultural lore is specific to like a specific culture and not necessarily all cultures. So let's not look at it as anthropology. I'm going to make just a base cunning roll to see if I can do anything, but I feel like we've got this handled.
Yeah.
I got an 11 on just like a base cunning roll. So Ilian is just not having a good time. Just like
Yeah.
there's snakes and it's sticky and it's outdoorsy and they're just
So,
uncomfortable.
Leon got a 9 with 2 stunt points, and I feel like that's again. Leon's looking around like this is a swamp. There's supposed to be elves here. There's supposed to be other people here. Can we move on?
so the name of the game becomes very quickly, basing this on the rules that we have here, uh, that Amara begins leading you to higher ground, utilizing natural features, root systems of some of the mangroves out here, and everything to keep the wagon from sinking. In the meantime, at the same, you know, Luvia begins to catalog those things that are going to be dangerous. Certain areas of the water, seeing the slides of large reptiles. It's like, yeah, let's keep away from that lake over there. That's a whole lot of thistle and brush, and I guarantee there are snakes. Let's not get near that. Pretty sure there's going to be some large insects over there. The overgrowth. We're definitely thinking maybe large to giant spiders. Let's just go this way. And and the two of you working together. At the same time, looking about Leon, you begin to pick up on little things that denote a different civilization out here. Markings on trees. Wind chimes of a sort. Perhaps more to generate noise that would scare something away or alert them to the presence of something. So I'm actually going to say that there are those things that you're picking up on as well. But the swamps are large. These aren't this small bodies. They are every bit as large, if not larger, than the valley that you've just left. And Ilian.
Ilian.
The best logic is the logic that maybe you should just stay in the wagon for now. It is a little bit overwhelming, especially with your background. You have felt the moment that you left your home and began to serve as a mage, there was a certain amount of disconnect of I was a part of a great noble family. I had the silver spoon, and I living in the chantry was roughing it. This is a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
This is looking around. You are doing your best to keep it from creeping into your mind. You are about to probably spend the night out here.
Mm-hmm. That's
Amara,
fine.
Amara is like having to hide her smile and like her smirk. Like seeing Ilian like swat at flies and like or like look vaguely uncomfortable. Um I mean, she's not comfortable either. It's a swamp, but like there's some entertainment there.
There's definitely a point with like Ilian to Amara's like, was that a snake? I thought I saw a snake.
I'm a,
Is that
it, if I may, Lou will just reach over and lean over like she's going to whisper something in Ilian's ear, and then when she comes back, she can have this massive tarantula in her hand and flick it off the side. I mean,
Was
these are
there
really good if we steam them like crabs. They're really good, and flick it off to the side so it goes off in the swamp.
was that was that was that
It was
on
admiring.
me?
It was no, it was on your staff. It was admiring your staff.
Okay. That's
We
fine.
got you.
That's
We
fine.
got you.
I believe
this
that is
is
not
fine.
the first. That's not the first critter that's been on Ilian's staff. I imagine.
Well,
This is, oh look, and then I like pretend to find something interesting in like the back of the wagon. And then climb out of the driver's seat into the more protected back of the wagon. And just am like pretending to look at things.
Ilian,
Very obviously.
you probably want to stay up here with me. We're more likely to get travelers back there with the food than up here.
Ilian has no dignity left. Just not even a little bit. And just like sadly scrambles back to the front. And is doing that thing when like you're you're trying not to cry, so you're just blinking a lot. Just a lot
Oh.
of blinking.
Lou's gonna look around as they go and wait for the moment when she sees a particular type of bird, and then like put an arm through Ilian's and say, "See that bird up there? Black with the big blue on its chest. Watch him a minute. Watch him. Just watch him." And they'll start doing this dance and she'll start explaining how he's calling for a mate and that's the male and blah 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 blah. And she'll, say this is a bird of paradise and try to get Ilian to hear this song and relax a little bit. There's beauty out
Deeply
here.
appreciate what you
Yes.
are doing. Does not say anything, but relaxes a little.
There is actually beauty out here. There is a lot of danger, but there is also beauty.
I don't mind danger. It's just I feel like everything here's very sticky.
That would be true. That would be the humidity.
I don't love the stick. Yeah. No, it's very hot. Very
It is.
uncomfortable.
It
Did y'all
is.
like my bird dance, or should I do it again?
Yes, we saw it. You were up
Could
there.
you do it again? I don't think I watched it correctly the first time.
You got to puff that chest out a little bit more for the bird of paradise. Like, wee! And head bobbing.
It's like watching a nature documentary.
as you're traveling, you hear the sound of 3 knocks.
I'll stop the wagon just in case.
Like coming from inside the wagon or coming from out in the woods?
Out
Or
in the woods.
The knocks are coming from inside the wagon.
It's like, oh, Minato, you need something,
Are you
buddy?
okay,
Okay,
buddy?
no, it's coming from the swamp. Okay.
Speaking of which, though, really quick, have y'all let Minato out, or is he staying in?
We will open up the pieces in the back so he's getting more air or whatever. So that he can, like the little flap, he can pull it back down and re-secure it if he needs to, but that way he can get some air. don't want to take the chance until we know he's absolutely safe or until we stop this wagon.
I feel like Leon's possibly back there giving him a running like
Yes.
narration of what's happening. Oh, Ilian found a spider on his staff and he's quite frightened. Oh, and now
Yeah.
Lou is talking about birds and trying to distract Ilian, and it's gross and hot and sticky. You're much better off under there. Here, have some bread.
Lou, do you know that is that like a signal for people that travel, like the knocking?
It's probably them calling, letting an alert go out to say that they've seen someone. So it's probably not meant for us. But I figured let him get a look. Hopefully, someone will approach, and as long as we're not weapons drawn, I've had no problem with the swamp folk before. So
From a nearby copse of trees, you hear, "That's probably a very good guess. So, what brings you out this way?"
well, we are sort of in search of a little bit of information. I mean, you may not have it, to be fair, but two things is a little bit of information, and we're sort of looking for the Dalish.
Are you here representing anybody? Let's start there.
No, absolutely not.
That's a good start. We've had enough of all the different groups coming through here.
Indeed, as have we. Jeez, headaches.
So I might as well warn you, I mean, obviously you can't turn the wagon around, but there is a trap not too far ahead of you.
Appreciate it. I am Luvia Vasquez, and she'll introduce her companions.
Uh, it's nice to meet you all. My name is Piero. At least, as far as you need to know.
And I'm sure you've seen me pass at least close to here before, even though I've never stopped and spoken to you.
We've heard about a trader who comes
Hmm.
through here ever so often, yes.
John, could you say that name one more time?
Piero. Piero.
Hero? Awesome.
And
Thank
to
you.
all my viewers who are like, man, he uses a lot of names in this game, I'm very sorry. But
Thank you. I appreciate the apology. I'm playing a high intelligence character and I'm a person who can't remember names. I'm fucked. Absolutely
But,
fucked.
well, at least I gave you one
Not
that's
anymore.
short and sweet,
Much appreciated.
and
We,
two syllables.
we intend no disturbance to you or your folk. Um, but I'm looking for a Dalish woman who may have come through here, and she will describe the face markings that Vanaya has.
Yeah, we've seen them. You're going to want to head northwest. It's not exactly an easy trek. You might be better off to leave the wagon behind.
I thought as much. If I leave it here, would you take any payment to look after it to make sure it doesn't, and my horses, the two carriage horses?
It's not necessary. We don't really need payment as long as you're not associated with any of the lords currently fighting through here.
No,
Most
we are
of-
not.
Most of them have not earned our good favor, but we do believe in doing what's right, especially for people not from here. Give us a
Much
moment. We'll
appreciated.
get a barge out
Mhm.
here and we can move your wagon along, at least get it to someplace safer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I know you say you won't take payment, but I do have some very nice wheels of cheese.
Well, if you're offering to feed us, I think that we can definitely come to an agreement.
Mm-hmm. And she'll crack open that bag, get some, salamis and sausages and bread and cheese and
Lou, you note some of those things are no longer present.
she just
Amara is looking at a compass that she brings out, like a kind of worn compass that has seen better days, and she's using it to try to like track the heading that they're going based on what Piero said.
but she
Uh,
will cut up what food they do have. What they did have, did have several bags, so there should be enough to share.
Awesome. I will say this for Amara. from what little, I mean, you don't really have access to an immediate map right now, but what you remember tells you that to go in that direction would take you into the heart of the swamp. Like there's not supposed to be an inch of dry land where they are directing you.
Um, Amara's going to look back at Ilian and say, um, "You brought your tall boots, right?"
No, should I have bought
Oh, your
tall boots?
waders? You didn't bring your waders? I
What
thought
are
I mentioned to you to
waiters?
bring.
What are waiters?
Oh, you know, you wear them so you don't get quite so wet. But no, we are. Just so you know, things are going to get a little bit stickier before they get better.
Yay.
Oh, really?
She cuts her eyes at Leon, and she's like, "We're going through the heart of the swamp, so it's best that we, keep our eyes about us for um, any gators or critters who might want to ride."
Or
Oh,
spiders bigger than the one that I took off the staff.
Hmm.
There's no what?
oh.
Lou,
And when
you
I say
didn't make
bigger,
me
I mean a
say.
lot bigger. No, but I know the signs of them, so we should be able to avoid them. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to get at least a flat-bottomed canoe that from these folks that we can borrow to take. I hope.
My apologies, Samara. I heard Sticky and I got a little flushed, but it's not the good
Excited.
kind. It's fine. It's fine.
Look, here, have some cylindrical meat.
Oh, I've been partaking, Lou. In fact, Minato and I have been enjoying cylindrical meat this entire ride.
Minato kind
Isn't
of
he a
pauses
teenager?
pauses between bites, looks over at you, thinking they understand your innuendo.
I mean, he is eating some of the salami that I pilfered from Lou's bag, so
But within an hour or so, a barge arrives, and with some help, uh, a rather, you would have called them disheveled, but long hair, scraggled beard, uh, clothing made of a thicker form of almost sackcloth. And they help load you up onto this barge and begin a trek through the swamp.
To which, after they get the wagon up, there's one will offer them, what food we have to share, and with us as well.
Food they definitely take, but it takes two of them, and they are using a series of large oars and poles to direct themselves that they pretty much handle most of the time. Yeah, but they're more than happy to chat and just mention that they're very happy. They're very thankful for the food. Um, don't really get stuff like this too often out here, so we really do appreciate it.
Not a problem. Quite happy to share.
So,
Um,
yes.
no, sorry. With Rev, uh, if we're leaving the wagon behind, should we not get the young
Yes,
lad
we
out
will.
of the wagon?
We
Okay.
will. We
Okay.
will.
Okay.
We have a young man with us
Mm-hmm.
who has done nothing to anyone, and we need to transport him without anyone knowing he was with us. And
All
she'll
right.
kind of explain that him and the girl and they were in love, and then he's being framed for murder, and we're trying to get him to Vinaya so that he can get away.
God, I swear,
And we
this entire affair.
preach.
I mean, we like to live a fairly peaceful life, and I mean no insult by this, but recently, a great deal of individuals who usually don't prefer our lands have made their way through here. Now, right now, your companion will be safe with us. As far as we know, most armies have moved out of this area.
Who else was traversing the swamps?
Well, we know that from what we understand of your masks and all, that someone from the house Valmont, some troops moved through here briefly, entered the swamp, and nearly turned right around and left, which we were very happy about. But the moment that they left, a different individual started coming through town, or coming through the swamps. And they've been here occasionally, off and on. A gentleman in a red cloak, but he wore the markings of someone from the local lord, or I guess the last local lord that we know of, the Duchalons family.
Ah,
Hmm.
hmm.
We see. I'm sorry, John. You've done a really good job of building the world. Who did we see in a red cloak?
You haven't yet, so yes, I'm
Oh,
throwing
okay.
more
We
NPCs
didn't.
at
They
you.
did.
No, that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing a very obvious clue. Cool beans.
No. The person who we saw who was like, because we saw a feminine figure
Hmm.
that disappeared.
One.
This is not that person.
No.
Who had a spirit help her travel away
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
from
Was
This is
carrying a large package.
which we now have.
Mhm.
yes. So
Um,
Du Chalon, do we know if if Du Chalon is aligned with Valmont?
They are so Duke du Chalon is the previous lord who supposedly fled north, and Duke de Valmontagne is in pursuit or will be in pursuit soon, and with the hope that this entire civil war will be ending shortly.
Gotcha.
um,
So Valmontaigne troops came and left, and then a
Well,
Du Chalon's
no,
person
du
came.
Chalon's troops came and left. Now it is, or sorry, no. Uh, so this is going back to our first episode and some of the
mm-hmm.
discussions of it. The Valmont
Mm.
family, that is Empress Celine's family.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah. Empress Celine
Ooh.
Valmont, or who has disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Her nephew, Adrian the Just, is probably like one of the most minor factions in this civil war, trying to claim the throne. And yes, we have not really touched on that since first episode.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
So that
so
that
they
could have
came
been
in,
Adrian.
yeah, they came in, left, and now Duchalon's troops have moved through this area.
Gotcha. Including a person with a dude in a red cloak.
Yes, there we go. Now we're all up to speed.
All right.
Ilian kind of, if there's a second talking, this is quite possibly a long shot, but I was curious, is there any rumors or local legends of any anyone who can turn into animals in the swamps?
Turn into animals?
Like a mage, a person that can
Can-
shift and become an animal.
There are legends, but not anybody that we know. I mean,
Okay, thank you.
there's legends of a witch that lived in the swamps at some point in
Mm.
history that they could turn into animals. But I don't know anybody who actually can. Why do you ask?
Scholarly interest.
Interesting. He just kind of nods at that, but kind of is looking over at you a little bit concerned when you say that.
I I am a researcher, a circle mage. I'm a circle mage, currently researching different types of magic, and that is one that is not taught at the within the circles, but one that
You
books can only get you so far.
magic's not entirely common out here. We don't really have time
And
to. The people here mainly just do healing if you can find anyone that has any gifts. But you're better off if you're looking for that sort of information to talk to the Dalish. If they're willing to talk to you.
I'll see what I can do. Thank you.
Do you not have abominations then? Out in the swamp if you don't.
Most everything out here, you're either smart enough not to. Well, you either are used to living out here to survive, or something around here takes care of you. There are things that I'm very impressed that you managed to avoid out here. Quite frankly, that an abomination is just another thing for it to destroy.
Well, our hope is that we won't have to encounter any abominations for some time.
Right, good idea. But no, it's one of those things that there is a trade-off. There, every place, I guess, has its own dangers. We just like the ones we chose.
So the swamp protects you from unbalanced magic.
Protects us from. I'm not going to mean this in a rude way, but it protects us from the weak, and it protects us from the games that some of the people here like to play. It's as close as you're going to find to freedom.
Hmm.
Ilian mutters, "Freedom is sticky. Gross." Not loudly enough to be heard by our very nice hosts.
Does
Lou,
Leon here?
I was gonna say, Lou whispers back, "So's an Orlesian bathhouse," but that's a good
And,
sticky.
and Leon points a finger up to Lou like,
Well, we'll be where we need to go probably within the hour. But I would recommend probably getting some rest before and then heading out in the dawn. Swamps can be even
Thank
more
you.
dangerous at night because then you really can't see anything out there that's waiting for you.
Good idea. And
Empty.
we will let the lad out of the. We'll get the compartment so he can get out and stretch his legs a little bit better. His newly healed leg.
His newly healed leg, yes.
Yeah, did you know that I could do magic? Who knew? It's so
I,
exciting.
I'd like to add that it's been recently healed, but he's also been in this secret compartment for a long time, so he probably has a cramp.
Probably, but he's very thankful for the opportunity now to get out. So that evening, uh, you make landfall in the swamp. They guide you out into what is essentially a small glade, roughly a little smaller than an acre of open land, surrounded by a few copses of trees, some houses that huts where there is smoke coming up. Some of our people make a life here. We're in between growing seasons, so the fields are available if you have tents and want to set up your own place.
Thank you.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much.
Uh, if you need directions in the morning, we'll happily give them to you.
Appreciate
And
it.
yeah, anything you need, just yell. And both of them kind of punch each other in the shoulder with that one and start walking their way out and away. They leave the barge right there near where you've stopped. They're just wandering off towards the homes.
Yep, I'm gonna start pitching my tent.
Ilian, if or sorry, no, she doesn't say Ilian. She doesn't say Ilian. She says, sorry, she says, Mage Toussaint, if you be more comfortable, you might be able to sleep inside the wagon.
Oh, God, I want to be a bitch, but I don't want to sleep on the ground. An X. Thank you.
I was also planning on sleeping in the wagon. I'm sure there's enough room for the both of us. Besides, it'll be warmer with two.
Ilian has the look of someone who's questioning every decision they've ever made that led them to this point, and it's just gonna take a while to do that. Just
Meanwhile,
really
Lou's finding a
try.
nice patch of moss to set the tent over, so it's a little padding there, putting her stuff in.
Yeah, I'll break out my tent. It's secondhand. Clearly,
Aww.
like patches in some part or sewn up in some part, um, and kind of start getting out her bedroll and that kind of thing.
As you're getting your tent set up, you're quite surprised as the sun is now setting. Fires, the smell of food being prepared in the distance. Up and out of the swamp, out of the waters nearby, you actually see a herd of Bronto coming up on the banks and into the field. Out of the water, out of the muck and swamp.
Cool. Also, I
Look at
do not
that.
attack them. If I remember from the video games, I do not attack them. They
I
are.
know.
I do
They
not.
got too much HP. Not touching that shit.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
For everyone else that may not know the video games, Bronto are these very muscular, almost rhino-like creatures that were created by magic at one time. Uh, or rumored to be created by magic, but they are almost razor backed in a literal sense of just rows and rows of spines of razors. Uh, but they're relatively docile. They're a beast of burden. And they just move into the field and settle not that far from you. You hear the sounds of them in the evening as the sun sets.
Yeah, they
It,
look like they're gonna stay in that field.
yeah.
I'm gonna take a bag of the horse's oats after I put some down from them, and then I'm gonna move over very gently and put some down to stop the edge around so it keeps the Brontos from coming into our camp, but it's something tasty there, and then I'll just make my way back. I don't want to mess with them. I just want to throw some of the oats down.
Okay. One of the younger ones, or you would guess younger by their size, comes over and eats a little bit. But
Oh,
for the
the
most part,
baby.
they steer clear of your group. Now, for the evening, is there anything you're going to be doing?
Leon's going to attempt to try to sketch one of the Rontos onto a piece of like a spare piece of cloth, maybe even one of the sacks that some of the supplies come in. He'll try to rip a piece off and just kind of sketch on it.
Ilian watches him do that and just like hands him a piece of paper.
Oh, oh yes, yes. This will do much more nicely. Thank you.
Do you want to actually try and make a roll for your
Yeah,
drawing?
I'd love to.
All right. I'm wondering, what would that be under, really?
Would that be under communication, or would it be perhaps perception?
Dexterity?
You know, it's one of those things where I'm looking right now for an art-based focus. Anybody? I'm not really seeing one, so I'm going to actually say, well,
Cunning.
calligraphy is under dexterity. It's
So
probably
it's
as close.
cartography.
Yeah, it's probably as close as we're going to get. So why not a dexterity
Alright.
check?
I'll go with Dex. I'll go with that.
Oh, crafting's under there too. Manual skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, that worked out well for me. That's 6, 12, 16, so 19 total.
In
And I did
the
get 6 points on the stunt die.
wow, in the dying light of the setting sun, before the fire begins to blaze, you capture quite an impressive sight to your paper.
Amara
Leon.
watches.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Or sorry, you go ahead, Ilian.
No, no. Goddamn. Uh, Leon
I'd,
has
I'd
just
like to
kind of
spend
casually.
I'll spend 3 points real quick on stunned silence. You are so impressive that you leave all who witness your display completely dumbfounded and unable to speak for at least a full round. Outside combat, this lasts at the very least long enough for your character to begin to do something else. That is a role-playing stunt. I just thought that'd be fun.
I think it's fair to say Amara is speechless, and she has these she seems really startled that you could capture such beauty, and she kind of keeps looking from the paper to you as if she's somewhat doubtful that you did it, but can't deny it. She really admires your artistry.
And
While Amara's distracted, Lou's gonna take the wax canvas tarp that she has and gently slide it over Amara's tent in case it rains so it doesn't leak on her. And then she's gonna go back into her tent and just start playing her instrument just very softly.
Okay. The evening proceeds, and for the most part, I will say, for those of you unused to this exposure, I want to see. I would like a Constitution check. I'm going to give you a normal chance of succeeding, but altogether, you're just, or actually, would I say Constitution or willpower? Let's go willpower. That definitely fits more with it. Of just keeping it together out there for a good night's sleep.
big old 10 over here. Doing great. I'm coping well.
All right.
16 for Leon.
Yeah, 13 for Lou.
Oh, do I need to roll? I would say Amara's used to roughing it.
Yeah, I would say that.
No problem.
I think it's everybody but me. Let's be honest.
I like to think that Leon has been poor enough times that he is used to roughing it, but absolutely despises it.
That's a vibe.
So, if you did not make an 11, sorry. Now, do you have anything that can
Right.
get you a reroll at this point? Do you have any
No,
banked?
not at all. No, nope. We're here. It's okay. I know who I am.
All right.
Makes sense for the character.
We're here. We're sticky. Get used to it.
There, most everyone has a fair night's sleep. You, on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
too much noise.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the little sounds. At one point, you swear that you hear the sound of something catching a rabbit in the distance.
Oh yeah, that scream. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The scream of a rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bunny screams. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You hear it
Also-
for a moment, and then it goes quiet, which is even worse.
The bunny stopped
Also,
screaming,
I'd like to point
Ilian.
out that
Real quick, before anybody goes further, there is a note. We have the Moon Crow has redeemed That Was Cocked as a reroll for Ilian.
Oh, thank you so much. I will give that a shot.
Have the bunny stopped screaming, Mage Ilian.
Did you roll worse? Tell me you rolled worse.
I rolled worse. I got one stunt point. I got a 7 this time.
You gotta succeed to use the stun. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no. So I think part of it is I'm assuming everybody else gets down into undershirts and things like that. Ilian is very awkwardly still wearing a full coat, leather gloves. They took their boots off, but they have not there's no pajama situation that's going on in the especially with a bunk mate.
Oh no,
So Ilian
and
And
Ilian is I know exactly, and so Ilian's just deeply tense in full garb in the hot, sticky swamp, just intermittently just like slapping like mosquitoes off of their face. They have the worst sleep they've had in years.
And I will for the lovely worst roll. I'll give you some help with that. As you two are lying there, and Leon eventually falls asleep. Yes, Leon.
can I just add that while and Leon has done the exact opposite of Ilian. Um,
Oh God.
Leon
Really?
is literally sleeping in basically just his breeches. Everything else has been hung on the wagon, like so it's trying to like he's trying to use the hot humid weather to kind of keep his clothes from being too wrinkled, and sleeping next to Ilian in almost nothing.
Yep, that sounds about right. It's a brand.
You're laying there though, in discomfort and dismay at your situation, and you're like, your back is to the outside of the wagon because goodness knows you don't want to take off your eyes off Leon. And you realize there's something there. Something behind your back. And you're not certain. You're like, huh, was it always there? Is it there now? Did something get there? What is it? And you spend the entire night with this question in your head about what is it and how did it get there?
If I look, is it not there? Is it?
I will say that at some point you finally work up the courage to look to make sure it's not a snake or something poisonous or horrible.
Oh God.
I actually would love a dexterity check as you try to stealthily.
Oh shit! So I got a 17 with six stunt points.
Oof.
Nice, nice.
I got ninja.
Would you like to use? How would you like to use those stunt points if you have the opportunity?
Oh, that's such a reasonable question, and
I think it's a very reasonable question.
it is a reasonable question, and God, this would is this exploration role play like
I would
the
almost,
combat?
I would let it go combat if you'd like.
Okay, cool.
Think there's
Uh,
lethal blow maybe or
yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna do lethal blow.
all
My
right.
stick.
Truly, it never stood a chance because you had how many points? How many
I
points?
had
Tell me he just killed Spanish, or they just killed Spanish moss tickling that at the side of the wagon or something.
that was 17 on the roll and 6 stunt points.
6 stunt points. How
Oh, Rev.
So
lethal
that's
with lethal blow?
2d6.
Yes, 2d6, and you have one extra point in there. So let's see. I really know the others really are going to help in this,
No.
but yeah. So roll those 2d6.
So I got an additional 5. And then, sorry, I'm gonna be very honest, I don't remember how to attack because I cast things.
All right.
But, uh, just a melee, and do I roll for just a regular melee attack? I'm sorry to have to ask.
Oh, no problem. Really quick. So for your attack, it should be. Oh goodness. Somebody want to help out really quick on that because I don't have that one in front of me right this second. But it should be
Yeah,
your
it's a,
strength.
it's a strength roll.
Yeah, strength.
Yeah.
Alright.
So that would be 12 to hit.
All right. Well, let's go hit.
And then sorry guys. I literally did not prepare how to cast non-magic today. I didn't study that bit.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So damage is going to be weapons damage and add your strength ability.
Oh, yes. So 12, 8.
All right, so 8 damage, and then is that with the extra 2d6?
Yes.
All right. As I said, it truly never stood a chance. With a great deal of stealth that Leon didn't even feel you moving in the darkness, not even a chance of waking anyone, but the sound of the thwack, definitely will wake Leon, and you have utterly decimated Minato's cylindrical meat that he left in the back end of the wagon. And we're going to take a break right there. So, everyone, will see you in about 10 minutes as we continue our escapades into the swamp. See y'all soon. And we are back. Hello, everyone, and good evening. So, welcome back to our second half, essentially, of our Dragon Age campaign. Our players here are now somewhere in the swamps of northwest Orlais. You've awoken the next morning, and you're finding, that the village or this group of homes, there are already people out moving about, heading out into the swamps. Perhaps for hunting, perhaps for gathering. Uh, one of the individuals, the one who had named himself, believe, as Piero,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
arrives there in front of you that morning and says, "All right, like I said, your wagon will be safe here. We'll tend to your horses. They will be safe on this area." Good evening, boys from the Baltic Star. Always happy to see y'all out there in the audience. Hope y'all are having a wonderful night. But and I really hope your con went well this weekend. I was really excited for y'all. So he continues to explain though. Your livestock will also be safe here. Rarely do predators come into this location. The Bronto pretty much work pretty well to keep everything at bay. But you'll need to be heading, and he begins to provide you some, general instructions. Eventually, you're going to find yourself in one of the deeper areas. If you want to borrow one of the smaller skiffs, you're welcome to.
Appreciate it.
But there is an island. Uh, Once you reach it, you'll need to disembark, and it's about a 5-minute walk. You'll find some ruins. Near those ruins is where the glade is for the Dalish.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck. I really hate to ask this,
Hmm.
but just in case you don't pass back this way, is there any message that you want passed along to anyone?
No. Just take good care of my two horses there, Canela and Tostada. That's their names.
They'll have a home here until you return. And
They're the best boys.
he nods and turns and goes about his daily tasks. All right, let's go ahead and start off with another navigation roll.
All right, let's see in the light of the day how this is a cunning roll, right?
Yes, it is.
Not as
14
great
again.
this time.
As long as you get over an
12
11. Hey,
for me.
there you go. Anything higher than 11 is going to get you on your way.
Okay, cool.
And does anybody want to go ahead and make a nature lore check?
I can convert mine over to that like we did before.
Okay.
If Amara still wants to navigate.
I only got an 11 on my navigation. Do we have to be higher than 11 or at 11 and higher?
11 or higher is pretty much how it works.
Gotcha. Cool. Then I'll stick with navigation.
Okay. And you want to transfer yours over, Rev?
Yeah, I'll transfer mine over again.
All right. How high did you end up getting?
Same as last time, 14.
All right. With the additional help of the skiff now, you're managing to avoid a lot of the dangers because now you're not even having to go anywhere near the tree line. So you'll actually be able to pass through areas where you will see a great deal of webbing where large spiders are moving through the trees.
Yeah, we're going to point to the opposite side away from that and point out some wildlife for Ilian to look at that's not those spiders.
Ilian's gonna cast rock armor on themselves. Just for funsies. Yeah.
Yeah, Ilian, look at over there. Look at the small herd of key deer. Very tiny, the little spots on them help them blend in with the trees.
Oh, look at the
Yeah, Look,
They've
and
got
there's the
little.
mama and a
They're
fawn.
little.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got little ears. I like
Yeah.
little ears on animals are quite precious.
And keep peeking over my shoulder till we're past the.
All right. Now the
Mara, those might be the biggest spiders I've ever seen.
You're a cunt.
Ilian whips around and goes, "Fuck." Yes. Rock armor on themselves.
all right. How long does rock armor last?
I was just gonna ask. It takes me a minute to cast, and it lasts an hour.
Okay.
But I can also keep casting it up to a certain point.
Well, it's going to be about a 3 or 4 hour trip through the swamps to arrive finally at the island.
I can cast it for 6 hours total, so
Okay.
I will keep renewing it through our trip today, just for funsies.
All right. Now,
But
are
anything
y'all?
over 4 hours, you should really go see someone at the Chantry.
Now, I was going to mention, are you bringing Minato with you?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Well, the swamp people said he would be safe
Yeah.
with them.
Yes, he would.
So
I
we
thought
would
we-
leave it up to him. But
I
yeah, it
thought
would have
we
been
left-
safer to leave him there. Yeah, agreed. Michael agreed.
If you tell him to stay, he will go ahead and remain. But there's actually a part of him where he is like, I would not mind going and seeing, the captain. That's how he refers
Oh,
to Venaya.
If he showed a preference, if Renato showed
Yeah.
a preference, he would come along with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just leave it up to him, whichever he prefers.
All right. So he will then at that point definitely be like, no, I think I'd like to go and see the captain.
Cool.
All right. And in the midst of all this, let's go ahead and make uh, let's make a nature lore check. Does anybody actually have nature lore? Okay. So obviously, your standard, uh, cunning roar. Not cunning. Is it cunning? Cunning.
Yeah.
Cunning
I think the
will
lore is
actually
going
cover.
to cunning, yeah.
Yep.
I have 15 with 5 stunt points because I get double 5s.
Okay. There
I
is.
got a 12.
All right. 12 won't make it, but for that 15.
Leon got, 12, 20.
Oh, okay. So both for the 15 and the 20. As you're traveling along, there is a lack of, any form of herd animals or really a lot of anything smaller animals after a while, the closer into this island you get. And there comes a point where you're like, okay, there is a major predator out here.
Blue, my dear, have you noticed it's too quiet?
I'm gonna use from those 5 exploration stunts the upper hand. If our discoveries lead to combat within a moment or two, you receive a +3 bonus on your initiative and advantageous position. Because that's the only other thing left at that point.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to do the same.
All right, so y'all both had the stunt points for that?
I also rolled 5 stunt points on that, on my 20.
Okay. You arrive at the island, and I'm also going to play this into part of that for Michael, because you did roll a 20.
Okay.
There is a stream inlet onto the island, or you're going into it. And you're like, this is interesting. I can't, And you're looking at the erosion, and you're like, this isn't a stream inlet. This is a reptile slide.
It's a drag.
Yep. And you're pretty sure that there is likely essentially a gargantuan gator that calls this area home.
Are there scale patterns in the mud?
Oh yes.
Leon, did you see anything?
To answer your question, Leon, yes, I did notice that. And she's gonna get bow arrows ready. Maybe we should have Amara steer around that.
Quite. Amara, please, if you could avoid. And Leon kind of takes his hand and like goes with a kind of a wide. That area over there, just avoid that that thing, that inlet looking thing. Let's stay away from that.
It's not an inlet. There's probably a very large reptile. We want to avoid, Ah!
Amara will draw her sword and do as they say.
Just a quick point of order. I did not realize how many of my mana points it would be to hold rock armor that long. Could we say that I just cast it now, or do I need to burn that much?
No, I'm cool with that. It's one of those things where if you're catching up on the lore of whatever for your character. Also, we'll just we'll consider that in the future. But you might also look into how your recharge rate, because I believe with there is a way for you to recharge your mana over time as you're going forward. So
Yes, I will do that for next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to make it easier for Amara, since she's steering, if you put your sword point down, I'll just put my hand on, even though I have the bow with the arrow this way, I'll put one hand on top of your sword, so if you drop the oar, you can just grab the sword and we're both ready to go.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So you don't have to redraw your weapon or whatever.
Leon's.
I mean, I will have to. I have like my shield on my back, so I'll have to like get my shield out. But I have my weapon, which is the important bit.
Mm.
All right. Yes, Leon.
Leon is standing at the back of the wagon with his short bow drawn.
Or the back of the skiff.
Yeah, the back of the skiff. Sorry.
No problem. You finally run aground on the island. As of yet, you have not seen any sign of anything coming for you.
We need to get off the skiff and get farther inland.
Yes, and let's please stay together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Amara will try and make the skiff, like, try and get it far enough where she doesn't think it'll like slip into the swamp and disappear, or like she like as aground as possible. And she'll, now that she has two hands free, she'll get her shield out.
All right. It is quiet. You now hear the sounds of birds in the trees on this island. And you begin your trek in marching order.
Amara will take point.
I think I'm gonna put away my bow and arrow and loosen my rapier or my short sword in the scabbard, but I do not want to walk towards the Dalish with a weapon drawn.
Oh, that's a really good point.
I'm
she-
gonna.
And I also, oh sorry,
Go ahead.
I also want to make sure that I'm holding in my hand her dagger and that packet she had together, so if a Dalish sees it, they'll recognize it. Because I can easily drop it on the ground to pull my weapon.
I'm gonna walk in the middle.
Leon will take up the rear with his bow and arrow drawn. And
Oh yeah, you will.
Eyes.
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
John, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're so good.
That was wonderful.
It's my duty as the ace to make the occasional lewd joke. I can get.
I was about to say to please that booty, but I feel like yours works better. No, Leon will Leon will bring up the rear of the pack. There's no better way to say it. I can't make it not dirty. With his bow and arrow drawn, trying to just watch our collective behinds.
All right. You proceed through the jungle, step by step of this. It's a swamp at this point. You're on this island, and like I said, jungle is a good way to describe it because the trees, the grass is overgrown. There is a great feeling, great deal and feeling of life in this area. Alien, you get a little bit of that, that tickle on the back of your neck, but it is nowhere near that unease that you usually get in these situations. It's the presence of magic, but it is not the discomfort that you have felt before.
I believe there's magic here that's friendly? Yeah.
Magic. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, friendly magic.
Magic is neither friendly nor unfriendly. It's closer to fire in that way.
Templar
If
and
our
training Palier, I'm aware.
if our friend Ilian says it's friendly, I would trust them to be able to identify that quality.
And I merely assume that Ilian's description means it's not hostilely directed towards us at the moment.
That one.
You're making your way through this,
Bring him away.
and you see the ruins. You've been walking for a couple minutes, and ahead of you, you see a central structure and rows of walls where a building once stood here, perhaps ages ago.
I am going to presume that since we were given directions by the swamp people, the Dalish already know we're here. And I'm going to say that softly to the others around me. So, I'm just going to move out and hold the stuff out in front of me, like in my hands, like just. Hello?
You don't hear anything initially, other than just the movement of trees, grass, sounds of wildlife.
Benaya, I have your package.
We're here to parlay.
I also brought my jester.
Go ahead and roll perception. And if you have a special focus in that you want to use, let me know.
The old 12 for
10,
me.
13. 17.
No focus that works for this. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a
12.
special focus either yet.
You
That's 18 for Leon with a 5 on the stunt die. Double fives with a 5 on the stunt die.
nice. You don't believe you see anything, but there is a sense of movement, and you also do see beyond the this ruin. There's a section of the trees, maybe about a good 5 foot wide, that there is nothing there. That would lead you to believe that more than likely that there's a path on the other side of these ruins.
So we're heading that way.
John, if I'd like to, can I use a stunt points in that exchange of like trying to call them out?
Mhm.
I'd like to use sway the crowd.
Okay.
It's 2 points.
Can you give me the explanation on that
Yeah.
one?
Your interpersonal efforts are so effective that they spill over onto others in the area, and you affect one additional person of your choice past the original target. The original target just being anybody in the area. So perhaps we were being watched by 2 people. You may use the stunt multiple times on the same roll. However, if the test that gave rise to the stunt was an opposed test, you may not expand the effort to anyone who has a higher ability or plus focus total than the original target. So in this case, just wanted this to be
Yeah.
such kind of a grand display of trying to gain someone's attention that it did so.
Sadly, it doesn't seem anything responds to your actions
All right.
that you know of.
Well, Leon thought it was spectacular, and that's really all that matters.
We all need an inner Leon. Just be like, you're amazing.
We all need an inner Leon.
That's
Everybody.
a t-shirt. You make your way towards the ruins and that gap in the trees. And you're proceeding. There's actually definitely a path. Like ancient brick path, partially obscured that you end up on, going through this section of the ruins. And as you're walking in the trees ahead of you, you see a singular orange orb, yellowish orange, about a foot or 2 off the ground, and it blinks at you.
I don't care for that.
Is that what I sensed before?
You hear a low rumble of a gator's growl.
Mother
Shit.
of God.
And that's when, crashing through the walls of the ruin behind you, a second one emerges. And we are
Second
going to be
orb?
going into a combat.
A second gator?
Yes.
Wait, there's.
Little girl.
2 large gators.
Wait, I thought there was an orange ball. Was that the gator?
That's
sorry,
the gator's eye, hidden in the
Oh!
hidden in
sense.
the foliage.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Ooh, cool.
For a moment I just thought it was a random orb, like I did not catch on that it was a gator. That is my beef.
No problem. We're going to transfer over for our audience to be able to see what exactly is happening there. All right. So, let's go ahead and get some initiative going. Does anybody need me to walk y'all through that for initiative really quick or anything?
I do.
All right. Just 1 second.
For the audience's sake.
For the
Yes,
audience's
yes, of
sake,
course. Audience review.
absolutely. So, initiative is dexterity, initiative, ability test. We're going to start with that. This is a test that stunt points cannot apply towards. So, going down my list I have here, Rev, your initiative?
14.
14. Michael.
16 for Leon.
All right, Frankie.
9.
9. And Stevie?
Big ol' 7.
7. And for our Gator Boys.
Big skinny boys.
5.
He was a gator boy. She said, "See you later." He
That
was
works.
too silly for
See,
her.
I was thinking, I ain't no gator boy. I'm free.
All right. One rolled. Yeah, this is always not what I want to have happen, but we have one that rolled a 19 and one that rolled a 7.
The speedy gator boy.
Speedy Gator Boy. So, Speedy Gator is actually going to be unable to fit between the ruins ahead of you, and is going to duck off into the forest to try and come around. So
Sweet.
they kind of disappear from the scene.
It's terrifying.
Well, let's hope the Dailies show up and take care of that one.
Yep. Starting at the top of initiative. So Michael.
So the one that we currently can see is the one that's coming at us from the ruins behind us, correct?
That is correct.
The one that was in front of us is the one that took off through the forest.
Yep. The orb that was ahead of you has taken off into the forest. The other one is coming through the building and is behind you. There is, to give you a good description, think that there is a singular walkway that you are currently on with some walls ahead of you that form kind of an L. The wall that he came through and another wall on the other side, which is the wall that is very thick and is protecting you from the other gator. So you're kind of in a large corridor, I would say roughly about 35 to 45 feet in width. So if that gives you an idea. And of course, alchemy, it is up on that if you want to see the map or if you'd like to get a better description. All right, I take it that was Leon running.
So Leon is running for the northern entrance to that kind of broken down corridor to take cover around the corner.
Okay.
And actually, we'll do this first because it makes more sense. Leon will turn immediately and take his shot at
All right.
at the gator with his longbow.
All right. Standard attack, are you going to do a full out or anything else?
We'll do a standard because I am going to take a movement.
All right. Did you want... Oh, so you're going to move as your minor action. All right.
Yes, minor action will be to move.
So let's go ahead and get that going for you, Michael.
6, 9. That'd be a 12.
So let me pull that up. I believe a 12 is going to hit.
Woohoo! I'd like to hear that. All right.
12 is right on.
And
Hits.
there were no stunt points, which is just 12, and that's going to be for 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. All right.
So an arrow kind of soars out and like just kind of sinks itself into the snout of the giant gator.
Yep.
How big are the gators?
They are body size, not including the tail. This is always the fun part.
You
Roughly,
said gargantuan earlier.
yes,
right?
they're about 10 to 15 feet outside of the tail.
All right. Well, Leon has seen enough. He is going to fire his arrow and then run off for cover around the corner here.
All right, running for cover, and
Make
then
it back
Rev.
corner.
How about
He
for
is
you?
He is literally right beside me.
Yeah, he's not. He's about 10 feet away.
But I guess I'm gonna stab at him with the short sword. I really have not much else I can do.
All right. So let's go ahead and get that attack, and we'll go from there.
Um, 18 to hit
Hits.
with 6 on the stunt die.
Nice.
So I'm gonna use that lethal blow. Just straight use that.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be 3d6. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14.
Nice. So that's going to take him down to... There we go. All right. Still standing, but you rake your sword across his head, opening up a large gash just near the eye. He kind of roars in pain. Next up in initiative order, we have Frankie.
Yes. So I would like
I'm
to
sorry. I should have stopped this one moment. For Luvia, you do have a minor action. Are you going to move?
See about my minor actions. Where's my actions? I'm going to put my guard up.
Putting your guard up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now we can go on. Sorry about that, Frankie.
No, that's totally fine. I'm gonna cast some magic. So I'm gonna try to cast Arcane Bolt, which has a target number of 10. Uh-huh. Oh, yippee fucking skippy. Um, I rolled 2 1s and a 2. Um, so I'm just going on a limb and guess that 7 does not hit.
7 does not hit. It's a TN of 12.
Cool. Also super fun. One of the ones was on a dragon die, which means that I now need to roll to see. I need to make a willpower test.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Things about to get interesting.
Yep. Funsies, this is a great time. So I need to make a willpower self-discipline test against the spell's target number, so a 10. All right, I beat it. So sorry. The caster immediately makes a willpower test against the spell's target number. A successful test means the caster is knocked prone.
Rather than something horrible happening to you, yes.
Yeah, I did a fall.
All right.
I fell over.
Now that will be casting a spell, I believe, is a major action, so you still technically have an action where you could stand back up. A minor action.
So if I stand back up, is that all of my movement?
That would be all of your movement, unless you want to take
Cool,
a different minor action.
No, I'm just gonna stand back up. And then try not to pee myself. Yep, that sounds fun.
All right. And on
It's
to
my turn.
Yep, on to Stevie.
Alright, so Amara getting her feet unstuck from the mud, from where she fell down so low in the initiative. She is going to, the gator that is in front of Luvia, she is going to charge it. I'm going to move half my speed. I think it's within.
Yes, it's within range.
Alright, and I'm going to swing at it with my bastard sword, so I get an extra +1 to this.
All right.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I get some stun points too. So that is a 17 to hit.
Hits.
All right, and then I got 4 stunt points. So I'm going to do lightning. Can I do lightning attack with a melee?
Yes. I
no,
believe
wait.
so.
Actually, sorry, you go ahead.
I can verify that, but you have something else you want to do?
I want to do Mighty Blow to get an extra D6, and then I want to do Taunt. I want to insult or distract the opponent and make an opposed test. So let me cook up that damage first.
Where'd you go? There we go. Combat stunts. You were saying lightning attack?
Or sorry, I want to do Mighty Blow and Taunt.
Okay, so lightning attack doesn't work. Okay, but mighty blow and taunt.
Yep.
Lightning
Right.
attack would work. Lightning attack would work. It just specifies what the conditions. If you're using a ranged weapon, it has to already be loaded.
There we go.
So it does work for both. It's just it has to be
Thank
loaded.
you.
So
All
that is 12 points of damage. And then I need to make a communication deception versus their willpower self-discipline.
Power self-discipline for them. 1 second. Let's get that back up. We're looking at a 11 on the base, and you said what was their with their willpower?
Willpower self-discipline.
You're gonna succeed. It is gonna be taunted.
Yeah. Okay, so it is taunted. It has a -1 penalty on attack rolls and casting rolls on your next turn. So I think Amara says she like charges up to this uh gator, swings in with this mighty blow, and says, um, just a big lizard. And somehow the gator knows that Amara's talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, insults. All right.
Yes.
And last but not least, before the gator has a chance to act, Minato launches an arrow that streaks
Shit.
into the gator.
I forgot who was there. Bless his little
Me
heart.
too.
And he gets
So
it
great.
right on the nose of a 12, and that strikes. Did not roll doubles, but that is going to be a nice whopping 5 points of damage, which every little bit helps.
Good job, Minato.
All right, but now for the gator. Who is going to target the one who taunted it?
With a -1.
With a -1. All right. For that first strike, we are looking at 3 plus 5, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9, plus 8, which is 17, minus 1 is 16. Does a 16 hit Amara?
A lot of
So
math.
I think because I forgot to do a minor action, it will hit.
Now, did you have a
That
minor
is-
action that you didn't get to do?
I mean, I say it's your call. I forgot to do it.
If
So
you have it, I want to make sure that you get every last thing out of the combat. So if you had a minor action you didn't take yet, go ahead and get it done.
my minor action is guard up
Mm-hmm.
and doing +2, so I would raise my defense to a 17.
There you go. All right, so it snaps at you with its jaws and just rams into your shield, and you feel the power of it. And your defense is just enough to survive the hit. And it is on its turn for its minor action. I'm not going to tell you what it's doing. But its friend, you can hear. Let's go ahead and get to them. They are moving through the jungle in the background. You can hear them and the sound of trees falling over as it moves.
So the one in front of us is essentially considering its life choices.
Maybe. It sounds like it's trying to get to a point where it can come at you.
Come on, Leon. We can kill this thing. Maybe its friend will eat it instead of us.
All right, Michael.
We could just throw sausages at it if we hadn't left the cart behind.
If you hadn't eaten them all and
I
smashed
didn't
them in
eat
my
them all,
cart,
and I didn't smash one. And Leon will bend out from behind the cover and shoot at the gator that's in the midst of the group.
All right.
And this will be a full action this time.
Okay. So
Can you remind me? Can you remind me, John, what the full action benefit provides?
it should provide you with, I believe. Oh, I hit the wrong button. 1 second. That'll make things interesting in a moment. So to go with the all-out attack action should raise your damage by 1, but your defense goes down by 1.
Okay.
So it's a nice
Well,
way to
thank
get an extra point of damage, which is really useful in certain situations.
Okay. Come on, stunt points. That'll do it. 2 6s, a 6 on the stunt die. That's 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 total points. 16 to hit.
All right,
Yeah.
hits. And how much damage total?
I'm checking out my stunt points real quick for the 6 stunt points. Go combat. I'm always on the wrong page of the reference sheet. There we go. We're gonna do lethal blow
All right.
and rapid reload.
Ooh. All right.
So that'll give me an extra 2d6 on the damage for this one. So that will be 3d6 plus 3 plus 4 because I have the extra point for the full attack.
All right.
So that's 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points.
Holy shit.
All right. You strike it, and I'm gonna actually say that the arrow pierces through its eye and out the back of the lid on the socket, since the gator's eye is higher on its skull. It literally this streaks through and hits into the skull, and it is shrieking at this point. Rev.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16.
Dude.
Who's
Six.
it?
All right, that will hit.
And 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. All right. So I'm gonna need Amara. You are within distance as it goes into its death throes. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
All right, so because I have guard up,
Mm-hmm.
I have a penalty to all the tests I make for the remainder of the current round. Oh wait, of that, this is a new round, right?
New round, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Then never mind. I don't have a penalty. Okay, dexterity.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Okay, get 2 stunt points. And that is only a 11.
You succeed.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
All right. It begins
I'll
to
hold on to those
spin
10 points.
wildly in its death throes as you, after Luvia's last hit, and after a moment, finally ends on its belly. All right. But that takes us on to Frankie.
Cool. Do we know where the other one is? I see the other one.
To the east of your characters, beyond the wall, you can hear it crashing through the brush. It probably will be able to turn the corner at the end of this round, or at the start of next round, and be on you the round after that. So you've got 2 rounds as this thing tries to come after you. You can either
Cool.
stay and try and fight it, or y'all can try and evade and disappear into the woods, or even the ruins.
Oh, can I take my minor action to move up to where Frankie is?
Yeah.
Or,
Yes.
well, excuse me, where Lillian is.
Yep.
So in case it
absolutely.
comes around that way, the body of that other gator is laying there for it to see and looking juicy and yummy.
How many?
Do you have any
I'm-
spices you'd like to sprinkle on it as you run by?
Nope, just death should be enough.
All right. I'm gonna scooch back
All right.
over just a little bits away, just so I'm not directly.
I'm gonna say that Luvia moves towards that. Now you're headed towards the body of that one of the downed gator.
That's fine.
All right.
Oh wait, no, maybe not. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be on my own out in front. And then I guess it moved, and you said it'd be 2 rounds till it gets there.
Yes.
All right, I guess since I haven't used a major action, I'll just take the defend stance, so +2 my armor.
All right. Amara, what are you doing? You're still near the gator at this point.
Okay, so I'm going to minor action prepare.
Mhm.
So I'm going to prepare my major action, which is going to be I'm going to prepare. Oh, no, I need to get away from the gator just to see if it'll take the bait. Never mind, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to.
Minor action, pull
Move.
back.
Yep, I'm
All
going to
right.
move back and take a minor action move. Major action, I'm going to take defend, and I'm going to try and make myself as big as possible and get between these folks and. So I guess really I'd be like here because I want to try and head off the gator before it gets to any of my friends.
All right.
And actually, and I'm going to use my 2 stunt points that I got for my previous roll, and I'm going to take a defensive stance, so I get an additional +2 to my defense. So it's a +4 total to my defense.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Start of the next round. The gator finally comes to that corner, and we'll see its downed comrade. You all have another major minor action that you can take? Are y'all going to stay there? Are you going to move away? What is your goal?
Back up. Let it have the nice gator
Oh.
tail feast in front of it.
Certainly following Lou's lead.
All right. Anybody not
Following
doing
Lou's
that?
lead.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and move y'all into the ruins over by Leon.
Try and stay between the gator and the rest of the group with my shield up.
All right. Then I will put you right there.
First one in, last one out.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go ahead and make a roll here for the decision of the creature. Discretion is the better part of a meal. And the gator approaches, sniffing the other one, latches onto it with a final bite, and begins pulling it into the brush behind.
That sounds great.
Very well done.
Don't be suspicious. Don't
be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
A branch breaks.
Great.
And you all turn, weapons ready more than likely, to see War Lady Vinaya holding a branch in her hands that she has snapped to get your attention.
Yes,
I'm gonna
fair.
pull out the packet with her dagger and the other thing that I had in my belt and go, believe this is yours. And there may be a rumor floating around that we're about to be married.
She bursts out laughing at that, but it's like, okay, that was not exactly the first words I expected to hear.
No, I have other more dire words, but we probably shouldn't talk here because when it finishes with its friend, it's probably going to come back looking for the rest of us.
That's definitely fair. Let me show you a way out of here. And she begins to lead all of you into the forest beyond the ruins. You've come quite a way, and Minato, I'm very glad to see that you're in one piece. What exactly is going on?
And I will info dump her on everything that's happened since I last spoke to her.
Is there anything that you are going to keep back?
I'm not going to mention the package. I'm not going to mention our excursion to the ruins, but basically what concerns her and Minato about them believing that they murdered Lord Moreau, including the marks that we did see on Lord Moreau's neck, and that his body was present at the fort when we went there to look for her and Minato, because that is exactly why we went there, was to look for the two of them.
Are you
Are we
going?
sharing that we also saw signs of crows?
Yes, yeah,
That was going to be my question.
yeah.
I was also gonna ask if they had any experience of like the demon-like activity that we did.
Yes. Yeah, so what happened at the manor house, we'll tell her that as well, and what that guy looked like. And also whoever gave us the other information about whichever duke it was meeting with these crows, with this crow being seen meeting with the crow.
Mi- Oh, Minato actually told us. Minato said that they saw a crow meeting with Du Chalance, is that correct?
Yes.
Mm,
Which is
okay,
not
then
the side I expected.
Yeah.
And pardon me, I don't recall if we turn over the mask fragment we found, or did we hold on to it? Because we had talked about turning it over as evidence that the crows were involved.
I
I'm trying to remember
believe
if we actually
I
did that.
believe I believe Amara has it with all of the blood magic stuff
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
because that's
We
what that came off of.
decided to keep it as a last resort if we don't find anything else to prove their innocence.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Great. As if things couldn't get any worse at this point.
Hey, I did manage to get him out of the city and talk our way past um Mr. Lightner.
What happened at the fort that night?
We received word from Duchalons that a certain amount of our forces were going to be withdrawn. And 10 of our soldiers left that evening under the orders or under the leadership of Guillaume. And quite frankly, I don't remember the rest of his name, but he was sellsword chevalier who was working for Duke de Chalons. He disappeared. I've now found out that he was seen coming into the swamps. But the thing is that I overheard Duchalon meeting with a crow. And the crow and him were talking about a impending ambush and was selling information. But the thing is that now I've also... It looks like the crows are very active in the area. According to the Dalish who were here, they overheard or saw also a crow meeting with the Valmont forces who were coming into the swamps. Essentially, it looks like they prepared the entire thing.
Or at least they're playing every angle to come out on top and make the most profit.
But they managed to rid the area of most of the forces that would have stood in the way of the Duc du Valmontaigne. All the forces that could have possibly challenged him were warned ahead of time that his army was moving into the area. And my forces were left behind as an opportunity to try and slow them down. So now, the Lord I served, Duchalons, is now held up at the castle to the north. And it looks like Duval Montaigne is about to win everything.
I do still have hidden that package you gave me.
I'm glad. I'm very upset, obviously, that my people threw in with Duchalons now that it seems that there's really no chance for him and his forces. Montaigne will ride north and they'll be destroyed.
It's not right what Du Chalons did. He left you all for slaughter, just as left you as fodder for this army.
And
If
they all.
Duchalance was going to surrender this valley, why not remove all of his forces?
I would think he was hoping that by leaving our group behind, he could get the majority of his forces and reinforce his castle.
Not only that, someone must know that you know the truth.
Of the meeting
Because
with
now
the...
they're hanging. Yes, because they're hanging you and the lad here out to dry and take the heat for the murder of Lord Moreau.
It does seem to be the case.
Do you Did you see Lord Moreau at all during the battle at the fort? Because his body was there.
No, he was never at the fort.
Hmm.
Can I check to see if she's lying?
Absolutely.
What kind of check is that with this?
I believe it's
Also, same.
I believe it's cunning.
Not
But I can.
perception?
Let me double check. I do believe
Would
it's
it be?
cunning.
Would it be perception? Would it be empathy?
Uh, should be under empathy because you're discerning the feelings and emotions of
Yeah,
others. So
that
it
would
is
be
perception. Yes.
perception,
Perception
and
and craft.
empathy would be the focus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it too since I'm stood right there with her.
Yep.
6, 12, 30, 40,
I don't think a 9's gonna
18.
get me to the thing, is it? I
18.
don't think so.
No.
Whoa!
But Rev,
Alien's like intensely looking at her eyes, while Lou's just kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
Lou's-
Leon
Lou's-
got a 17, so Leon's right there with Lou.
Yeah, I'm like watching her body language, her facial expressions.
she's being honest. That means somebody moved the body of Lord Moreau into the fort after the conflict.
Why?
To frame you and him, but why? Okay. How
Frank,
familiar are you? How familiar are you with the land around here, Vanaya?
actually quite a bit.
So you know about the other ruins.
Yes. Never really investigated them much myself, but yes, it's said there's ruins dotting the landscape all over under here.
I'm
Where,
gonna like casually look at the others and see if what they think about me carrying on with the tale.
Amara will nod.
Alien shrugs is kind of like, I don't know. Ilian's still trying to figure out if she's lying or not. For the
What's
eye
Leon's
twitch.
reaction?
Leon looks indifferent.
Mhm.
There's
Okay,
a you get there's a it's kind of, wouldn't go so far as to say shrug, but it's just kind of like a
Okay. The other night, I can't remember what the hell we were doing. I'm sure that Lou will remember. I just don't remember what we were doing out. We
We were returning the daughter.
No, it was after that when the
Oh,
lady
maybe,
tried to
maybe.
flee from us.
Yeah.
When we almost caught this woman, she used magic that allowed that had a spirit help her get away. There's also a lot of talk about a Cirrus around. But what the woman dropped was this, because it's in my pack. Remember, I never got to get it back to the stash. I will take it out and I'll show it to her. That came out of the ruins.
interesting.
And we're certain it came out of the ruins.
I want to take you to see somebody. Someone who might be able to make some sense of all this.
I mean, Leto and Vanaya were practically married. And she'll just grin at her.
We. I'm going to take you to see one of our elders who practices magic.
Do you have Holodeer?
Hmm?
Do you have Holodeer?
I'm not following, I'm sorry.
Hala, the deer with the big twisty
Oh.
antlers. Do you have the...
Uh, not here, but
I just wanted
there
to
is.
see one, that's all.
Maybe we'll have a chance at some point. But there is I don't want to say a prophetess, but someone amongst our number who had a vision of an individual called Osiris. And mentioned that this Osiris was involved in looking for something in the lands. They might be able to, with this, shed a little bit more light on whatever's happening.
That seems like a good idea.
And the bad news is it's quite a ways away.
Longer than 10 days travel back?
No, we can probably make it there in about 3 days or so.
The time frame, the limit we were given to bring forth additional suspects.
Well, they're
Besides
not going to
yourself.
get the 2 suspects they want.
Yes, but if we want to clear their name and prevent any bounties being put on their heads, we have to return within 10 days.
And we need to bring the culprit to justice.
Yeah, that too.
Well, we have to figure out who the culprit actually is. See, at
How many-
first, Amara, I thought it was, or Leon, either both of you, I thought it was the guy on the bridge. Before we met up with him a second time, I thought it might be him. Because he sicked his dogs on us when we went out to the fort before it was ever attacked. But I didn't get any impression or sign that he was surprised that they were looking for the fugitives.
But to be fair, he didn't look. I didn't get the impression that he was sharp enough to have involved the crows to begin with. Too
Exactly.
brutish.
Mm-hmm. And if he'd have garroted Lord Moreau, he would have taken his head clean off.
There's
You...
yes?
Oh, I... Do you think perhaps... Obviously, this is the priority. If perhaps your leader would be willing to discuss magic with me as well. My area of study is forms of magic that are not practiced within the circle, but have been at times practiced by the Dalish.
That is a whole discussion that I would leave to them.
Makes sense.
I'm not certain how they will respond to the idea of someone from the circle studying us.
Yeah, understandable.
Well, we have quite a bit of a journey ahead of us.
We start to make the journey and it gets quiet. Lou's gonna look over at Vanaya and flirt with her again and go, I wouldn't mind studying at least one Dalish.
Are we bringing the
Let's get a communications check on that. Let's just go for it. Come on. We haven't had a good a good communication seduction check in a while.
I really hope you get some stun points.
I do, I have 3.
Ooh, is it enough for flirt?
6. Yeah, 6 and 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Because I have persuasion.
Well, that is definitely a good cliffhanger to end on if you would like to
Ooh.
see how she
Wait, what do we have for
responds.
stunt points? Yeah, what are the stunt points there?
Uh,
Think we could use the witty remark at the end or whatever.
mhm. But to see how that all shakes out with the flirting, we'll see you. We'll come back to that in 1 week's time. But for now, we're going to go ahead and close the scene up and call it an evening. So my players will be leveling up after this game. So everyone's going on to level 2 in the
Hooray.
wonderful world of Dragon Age. I want to be sure to say thank you, everyone who managed to come out tonight. We're always happy to have people out there in our audience and enjoying this world as we continue our tale because I think we're heading towards, hopefully, the opening of an even larger plot. So I'm really enjoying it. But really quick again, I just want to say the maps used for the combat were I should have mentioned this. So animated battle maps, we used their maps. We use music from Tabletop Audio, and we are very proud to be using the Alchemy VTT. It's a brand new VTT that's being shopped right now. They should be actually going to Kickstarter soon to find more funds and everything else to continue creating it. I find it to be a really good VTT. I'm really hoping to see a lot more development with it. But so far, uh, it's probably been the easiest for me to work with to import animated battle maps directly in, which I think is fun. But anyway, we're going to call it an evening. In 1 week's time, we will be back again with Dragon Age. So, looking forward to everyone seeing y'all then. And stay safe and have a good evening. Night, everyone.